Hello and welcome to Wow Embossing YouTube channel. My name is Aditi and today I am creating this cool Terrazzo effect on my card using the new release Mixed Media Additives. So I am going to be playing with this particular additive, the Harlequin, and a few embossing powders. But first up, I am going to use Alt New Ink's Easy Breezy and Let Us Celebrate to create a gradient ink blended background. I am simply using my blending tool and adding these two colors on my card panel right here and blending them smoothly with my blending brush. I have decided to use the green on two corners and then blend the blue or the aqua right in that space in between the green, creating a nice smooth blend. So it's just very easy, quick background, and this card can be created with a variety of color combinations. You could add in 3 or 4 colors just for the background as well. You could mix up the colors, and there's just plenty of scope that this technique comes with. Once that's done, I'm going to just sprinkle a little water. So I'm spraying water in my palm and then splattering that on my card base and lifting water off with a paper napkin. Here I have small stars from a die cut that I have embossed with pastiche powder. I had done this for a previous project and I didn't end up using it. So I am going to use this on my background. You can see the water droplets have created such a cool effect and added texture to that ink blended background. To further enhance that, I am simply gluing these stars randomly and making sure some are overhanging so I can cut them off and trim them just to create a little repetitive pattern, another level of texture, depth and interest for my card background. So gluing them with liquid adhesive, once I know that I'm happy with their placement, I am going to set all the stars in place, and like I mentioned, I'm going to trim off the overhangs. And here you'll see me trying to play with the overhangs, trying to see if I can use them at a few empty spots, and I don't end up using any, but I always like to check just in case something adds a level of texture and interest to fill in a particular gap on the card panel. With that, my background is complete and I can move ahead to the focal elements. So I am using this Alexandra Renke die and I have die cut 3 sizes of stars. Now for the first star, I am going to use the violet era to heat emboss that. So I'm playing with shades of purple for the main focal stars, creating a nice little pop on that teal background. So sprinkling my embossing powder after I've just pressed it on the embossing ink, I am going to keep my mixed media additive on the side and start melting the embossing powder, and as it's melted and hot, I'm going to sprinkle some of the elements of the mixed media additives and kind of looks like confetti, so I'm going to just call it confetti. I'm going to sprinkle that and add that, and it just adheres and glues onto that melted powder. So I like to just get rid of any overhangs that I know haven't adhered well, and I keep repeating this step a few times. So what I'm also doing is just collecting those tiny confetti pieces and crushing them slightly further to create smaller chunks, and that also is going to look really beautiful right on top of this purple embossing powder. So in a way, I'm bringing back the colors from the background as embellishments on my purple stars. So you will see me repeat this process a couple of times until I'm happy and looks nice. Now moving on to the next star. For this, I'm going to use the grapefruit fizzos for my embossing and repeating the same step. So I'm just speeding it up right here and melting the embossing powder. As it's melted and is still hot, I'm going to sprinkle my little confetti mix right there and keep repeating that until I have enough to create the terrazzo texture that I want. So for the last one, I am using fruit tingle embossing powder and basically repeating the same step. And like I was saying, this confetti, the additives over these stars, create that terrazzo tile look that I had in mind. So you can use this with any of your dies and stamps, but remember, it's not going to melt on its own. So you will have to use it with an embossing powder or with glue or with pastes to get that chunky textured look on your project. Now that my elements are ready, I am using some foam tape and adhering the 3 stars one below the other, and just adding that pop of purple and the terrazzo effect, bringing a nice element for my focal. This also creates for a really great holiday card. And for the sentiment, I am using Shine Brightly, which I think is very apt with all the stars that I have going on here. And with that, this card is completed. Here is a closer look at that shine shimmer. It's a simple card, and like I said, can make for a really great holiday card as well. I hope you have enjoyed this and this inspires you in your next creation. Until the next time, take care and bye bye.